evening, friends. Our subject today is handling finances in a Christian marriage. Finances are a hot topic in most marriages, and money fights are one of the most leading causes of divorce. Not being on the same page about finances can drive couples apart. All married couples have the potential to a healthy and intimate financial relationship. Money talk, discussing and budgeting together can improve your financial intimacy. In one study, money issues were found responsible for 22% of all divorces, making it the third leading cause. Some analysts say Bible mentions money matters approximately 2,350 times. Now, before we even discuss how to have financial harmony in your marriage, let me quickly advise you to keep God in the center of your marriage and establish a Christ-centered marriage, not a money-centered marriage. Though you must work hard to attain your financial goal, bankruptcy must never lead to love raps. Many couples ask me, what is the best crypto-economic way of running marriage finances? Bearing in mind the different economic setup, different backgrounds, different marriage dynamics, and family structures, should they all have one joint account and run it together? Or have separate accounts, then centrally contribute to expenses and to joint savings account? Each marriage has unique circumstances, and it's hard to have a one-size-fits-all copy and paste type of advice. Yet I will do the best to bring out certain all-rounder, time-tested scriptural principles that apply in all aspects of Christian marriages. As someone stated, marriage is an amalgamation of all pieces of life. The husband and the wife lose their individual identity and become one. I is dropped and replaced by we. The marriage couple no longer uses my, but our. This includes finances. For marriage to thrive, there must be intimacy at all levels. Teamwork is the best approach. Budget together and avoid spending in secret, concealing debts, lying about income, hiding accounts and credit cards. A joint account gives you best sense of unity and transparency, yet it's not always possible in some marriage setups. Whether you are running joint accounts or multiple accounts, hide nothing from one another. Keeping money secrets from your partner is called financial infidelity, and experts say it can cause just as much harm in a marriage as cheating on your spouse. When lies about money come to light, they can cause arguments and loss of trust. In some cases, financial infidelity and sexual infidelity go hand in hand, as cheating spouses hide all evidence of financial expenditure on extramarital affairs.
Does the income profile of the family affect the budget, since we usually see the money earner trying to detect the spending priorities?
Income inequalities must never disturb the sweet harmony and one-mindedness in family budget. If one partner is the income earner, he earns it for the marriage, not for himself or herself. It is important to respect the unique contribution of your spouse to the home. The original old-time Bible setup gives the man the role of a provider or income generator, with a stay-at-home wife with more household or child-bearing responsibilities. The family income trends have changed significantly in modern times. We now have more women working and a dual income scenario. It's increasingly becoming more common for the woman to be the main or sole breadwinner, and the husband unfavorably reduced by circumstances to a housebound Mr. Mom, keeping children at home as the wife leads the hunt for finances. I always challenge husbands to rise, work hard, pray and even upgrade their education and direct the financial direction of the family. Yet, to balance this, we understand that it is possible for the woman to be more learned and more positioned for a high-paying job than the man, and even have high entrepreneurship skills as depicted in Proverbs 31 about the virtuous woman. The bottom line is, work as a team with one mind, even in one-income families. If I may use football analogy, one spouse becomes the striker looking for the financial goals, and the other becomes the goalkeeper and the keeper of the home.
Please give us practical hints on how to practically budget together when we have different priorities and temperaments.
It is important to discuss finances together, share goals and targets together, pray for guidance and wisdom, invite God into your finances. If the husband and wife have separate goals, it makes it nearly impossible to have financial intimacy in marriage. Matthew 12, verse 25. And Jesus knew their thoughts and said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. It is also important to have an understanding of how your spouse views money and how they were raised around money. What is your spouse's greatest fear with their finances? Know yourself, what your money personality is, and understand your partner's money mindset to avoid clash of temperaments, e.g. spender versus saver. You may both need to adjust your money personalities and put your marriage above your individual desires. Personal interest must never override the welfare of the marriage. Put the needs of your spouse above your own. The Bible says in Philippians 2 verse 4, Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. You need to each adjust without totally changing one another. Agree to differ peacefully. Give each other breathing room and flexible supplemental budget or fund money allocated to each one which needs no feedback or accountability. There must be degrees of freedom and free personal funds mutually agreed. Take mutually calculated risks. Never take bank loans without agreeing together. Remember, however, that the husband is the ultimate authority. He is responsible to God to lead and shepherd his family according to Ephesians 5. Although the husband is to be leader within the marriage, the Bible also makes it clear that the wife can contribute great financial wisdom and skills to the family economy. Proverbs 31. Bring up touchy subjects with love. When a sticky situation arises, e.g. when you feel your partner is overspending, don't overreact in a rash manner that can damage your relationship. Discuss it with love. There is no room for selfishness in the loving marriage relationship. Outgrow the sense of insecurity that causes you to hide money from your spouse. Avoid financial sanctions even in times of conflict. Men, don't be stingy. Your wife does not need to write an application letter to get money for tomatoes. Don't be one-sided. Sometimes you find the husband with 365 designer suits and 100 pair of shoes, yet the wife has one skirt and a few blouses and her hair is falling apart. Sometimes the picture is the opposite. If you hide money from your spouse, imagine what will happen when you collapse and she doesn't know there are funds somewhere to take you to a hospital. Build an emergency fund and medical aid and policies or hidden fund for family emergencies. Always remember your marriage vows. You said together in poverty or riches. So create a happy atmosphere at home even in days when you are broke. Don't only rejoice in paydays. It's always good to create other sources of income together so that you don't blame your employer for your budget insufficiencies. Never compare yourself with other couples who are ahead financially. but be thankful to God for what you already have. Avoid living in debt. Where necessary, consult a financial advisor for financial therapy.
So how do we separate family funds from business funds and church funds? I understand the need to put God first in our finances, but my husband is so spiritual. He secretly overpledges funds to the church and missionary work, and when I discover it, he says left hand, that is me, must not know what the right hand, which is him, is doing in the spiritual offerings. He says transparency is mainly mandatory in marriage and business, but I feel like high pledges affect both marriages and business.
Yes, your relationship with God and each other must be stronger than your relationship with money. If you do business together, never let business atmosphere, stress follow you at home. Separate home and business atmosphere. Never steal from your business. Allow it to grow like a cow till you can milk it. Where necessary, postpone big luxurious purchases and strengthen your investments. It's possible to work your tithes transparently and understand each other on other offerings. You never know. Maybe you are being blessed for giving. Yet, if it is of God, it must never throw the family out of balance, because the Bible says in 1 Timothy 5 verse 8, "But if any provide not for his own, and specially for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith, and is worse than an infidel." It's always good to share the same spiritual values. I hear many times that spiritual priorities affect financial priorities. Unbelieving husbands usually have issues with a tithe-paying spouse, especially if it's a one-income setup. Even in Christian couples, one usually gives excuses when tithes or offering issues or charity issues arise. Don't let difficult circumstances get in the way of giving, but do it with all wisdom and harmony with each other and God's word. God sometimes gives you a partner with different money personality just to balance the marriage so that your family does not suffer from your generosity. Let me take one question from our online friends.
How do we deal with the unequal need of our extended families and in-laws in a balanced way?
Your in-laws are not outlaws. It's always good to treat them with more than double honor. Of course, their financial needs are not always equal as much as their ages and financial status are not equal. Yet the love and honor that each side deserves is equal. No one's parents are more important than the others, yet it's possible that one side may be more needy than the other side, as mutually agreed by the couple. Plan it together in mutual agreement and support them financially and in policies and medical aids if they don't afford. The other needy extended family members must never be neglected if you have means to help. But your first priority and responsibility is to your spouse and children. I see many hands raised with questions. Unfortunately, the time I was given is almost gone. I will come back again with another part of marriage finances. So as I close, let me advise you to balance your lifestyle with your financial resources and job security. If your job security is uncertain and you don't have another source of income, you may have to rethink about sending your kids to very expensive private schools for grade 1. But if you have it well calculated, that's wonderful. Please do so. I'm pained many times to see people who started in the best private schools being later transferred to rural schools because of poor financial planning. Some of these students fail to handle the change and may even become suicidal. Never put too much pressure on each other for past riches till you even become corrupt or fall in the hands of a conman. Some women end up pressurizing their hubbies to go to the diaspora and so on. Then later they complain that he is not coming home or even suspect infidelity. Avoid just leaving a job under promises of a better one or better investment without thoroughly discussing it and weighing the risk. Avoid hiding money in insecure places. We have heard many stories of maids or family members escaping with huge sums of money hidden in the homes. Those who have not finished paying lobola, do the best to clear. If you are acting out of faith to go and buy something on credit without enough funds, whether it's a home or a car, make sure it's real faith, not just mental faith that can fail and leave you in debt. Ring-fence your assets and let the legal team and real estate team advise you on trust accounts and wills. Work hard and leave an inheritance for your children. God bless you. Visit and subscribe to our YouTube page and Facebook page.